Yo, what's up, people? Dogysamich back with another one of these podcast, vlog things. I don't know what this is. This time, I'm going to be talking about a project that I've picked back up lately. It's a project that I've been working on and off, but one that I'm kind of hot on at the moment. And that's the project of trying to get decent at Bomberman. This time around, or I guess currently, it's more specifically Super Bomberman R Online, because that is the game to play. It's an official game by Konami, free to play, and even though it has the tag of the Battle Royale mode, you can actually play regular matches of Bomberman. You just need a pass to actually host games, which isn't a problem. I want to support it. I like Bomberman. I say Super Bomberman R Online, but I've actually just been using the game that it was based off of to practice, Super Bomberman R, because that's more accessible. It's less of a hassle to actually practice. While yes, it's possible to practice with R Online, it does take two different consoles, a console, maybe on Steam, two different consoles. It takes two different accounts to practice it. Whereas with just regular R, you have to unlock the stuff that you would probably need, more specifically Power Zone and Speed Zone, as those are the two main zones that you play on. And I want to say a second controller. You don't even need a second controller, but if you wanted to like literally practice against something that's not going to move, you'd need a second controller. So that's where I've been as of late. It's been pretty fun to delve into competitive Bomberman. I follow a handful of high-level Japanese players. They stream, they have Twitter accounts. They stream primarily on YouTube. A couple of them have kind of dipped their toes into Twitch here and there, but they mainly stick to YouTube. And I think some do stream on Mildorm, but I haven't messed with that too much. And it's been pretty cool to see like the higher end of everything, like the gods, if you will. Watch them grind for tournaments and just the tournaments themselves. Bunch of community ran tournaments. Apparently there's actually an esports league or series for Bomberman in Japan. I haven't found that yet, but I've gotten a lot of enjoyment and fulfillment from what I've seen thus far. And with digging around that community and like picking through some of the players' resources, I've been able to find that one of them has put out a pretty decent guideline of things to learn. Though it does have the slight catch of, well, being a Japanese. This kind of leads me to the roadblock of where I'm at now with Bomberman. It's fun to grind. It reminds me of years ago when I first started learning CVS2, or when I first started playing Melee, and this is back before like 20XX. This is back before wikis and all the information started getting centralized in like forums, wikis, Discord. Before it was easy to really find information. And if you wanted to learn something, you had to learn just by like, here's a video, decipher what's happening. So it feels back in that era, which is pretty cool. But it also is frustrating because I know the information is there. I can tangibly, well, I can't literally tangibly touch, but I could pick out information that is out in the wild, but it's in Japanese. And I know a very, 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 very little bit of Japanese. I'll say like 2%. Nowhere near enough to really do anything with it. Nowhere enough to get all the information I want. And one of the things that's been a setback in the recent years is the fact that there are translators out there, but I don't know how to go about translating audio. And I mean, yes, it is on YouTube, but they don't have the subtitles for English, so can't use that. And what that is, the break that's creating is I see all of this tech. I see what happens in a match, but it's hard for me to cherry pick what are the fundamentals, what are the essentials, what are the crucial things to know, what are the things you're supposed to build off of. and what are minute details that are just icing on the cake. So with that being said, I have like just kind of been taking the shotgun approach and just trying to learn a little bit from column A, a little bit from column 1, a little bit from pile alpha and everything, and try to see if I can make a method to the madness. And I've learned some stuff like how to multi-kick bombs, getting more efficient with punching, the logic with punching and throwing, the fact that like when you punch, it's going to go 3 spaces, throwing is 5, so you can like stand in an alley and it'll go to a cross, vice versa. Started delving into chain reactions and stuff, even though in playing I haven't really messed with it too much aside from like a simple little one hitter. And then like the idea of defending yourself, like specifically leaving bombs to deny somebody from kicking into your alley, or the idea of like using bombs to delay reactions. And even though I know this stuff and like I see it and I can practice it, it's hard to put into actual testing because I feel like it takes a decent amount of experience to really get comfortable with it. Because at the end of the day, when you take all that out, you're still playing Bomberman. That game is still like anxiety inducing, right? Even looking at my notes and everything that I covered, something that didn't cross my mind that I'm starting to learn is really the idea of where to stand when explosions are going off, which, I mean, there's like the casual place you want to be on the other side, but like, where are you actually being threatened and where can you actually stand? Like, those are some things that I've been working with. But that leads into the things that I've been kind of struggling with in this, like what I find very hard. What I've been alluding to is the very straightforward when, where, and why I want to do this stuff. Like, and this is where it kind of reminds me of, I don't want to just say fighting games, but really competitive games. Like, I see all of these actions I can execute, but where do I get consistency from? Like, I know how to kick bombs, and I know how to kick like a decent amount of bombs. Like, I'm pretty good at 2 or 3. Trying to get me to do more than 2 or 3 is maybe a little too much, but like, how do I actually trap somebody? I know how to do the setups for it, but I'm playing against somebody. I've been practicing against one of my friends who's very casual in this and just is willing to go along with me, and watching him run around, I'm like, how do I actually pin him somewhere? Speaking of kicking, one of the things I've been struggling with actually is doing multi-kicks up and down, because I realized that in most of the games that you play, especially when you play on a pad, you do a lot of left and right? So left and right feels natural, but like doing stuff up to down doesn't feel anywhere as fluid. So that's been a struggle to try to work into muscle memory, along with walking to the correct space to get a punch where I want to. Speaking of walking places, there's pillars. Dear Lord, the pillars. If I had $1 for every time I tried to turn on a pillar and throw a bomb and walk past the pillar because of how the game's designed, ooh-wee. But yeah, those are things that all stem from like execution, more specifically movement, right? So something that can be grinded out. It'll just take time. I do wish I knew enough Japanese to where I could talk to some Japanese players and ask them some questions, because I feel like it would make some of these hurdles a little bit lower. I feel like it would ease the burden in some of these places, because I can just get some answers that have been on my mind. One of the big ones I would actually ask them is simply, what peripheral do they use? And I've seen this mentioned a few times. Apparently, as far as I know, most of them, if not all of them, play on pad, which is mind-numbing. There's no other way to put it. Like, watching just the APM and the precision that some of the top players have, and to wrap my head around the fact that they're not playing on like keyboard or LLC or anything, leverless controller, but they're playing on pad. And to go even further, to realize that a lot of them like either Hori pads, or there's a third-party Japanese controller that's that emulates, that's a knockoff SNES controller. Those are the two that I see them talking about very often. It's like, wow. I'd like to ask them how long they've been playing competitively. Not like literally a tournament resume, like how long have they been playing tournament. I don't even know if like a tournament scene has thrived for a long time in Japan. I'm assuming it has, but who knows? I mean, I say this assuming there isn't one anywhere else, but I don't really know. Like, the information is kind of hard to find. But getting back to the point, I'd like to know just how long some of the players have been playing. Like, did they start with R Online, which would mean a lot of them started with R. I do remember like one of the main YouTube channels that I follow, I found it randomly years ago in R. I say years ago, like sounding like a decade. It was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago I found it in R. But yeah, I wonder about that. And then just the basis of trying to get better. Like, what do they consider essential to learn? Is it just everything? I guess everything that's compiled into that one good video that was supposed to be a glossary for a tournament, or like, are there different or more specific things? Maybe one day I'll get to ask. Maybe one day I'll figure it out for myself. Just a hope for the future. That's pretty much where we're at right now. Just things to hope for the future. Hope I find more people who are interested in playing. And just like a lot of things I do, it's not specifically trying to find competitive minded people who want to grind and be the very best in the world. No, I like the game. I like the series. It's fun. It's one of those things where I wish I could just turn it on and play with people. And I mean, yes, I would like to play more of the competitive aspects of it, like the 1v1s on Power Zone. I just recently did that with my friend for the first time, like maybe 3 or 4 days before this recording, and it's been some of the most fun that I've had in years. Also played Speed Zone, which is basically the original, but there are no speed power-ups. So you never have, whenever you get to the actual battle after you're building up, it's not like, oh, I just lose because you have 6 speed. I still have 1, which is the reason why it's the other common zone to play. It doesn't specifically have to be, though. Standard's still cool. I don't mind playing some of the goofy other zones where you don't have like a grid or anything. It's like playing the game. Maybe I have to go as far as to make a community. Like, I've kind of looked around for some, haven't found anything. I've asked people to play here and there, and people have been willing to play, but it's one of those things, it's one of those games where, because you don't turn on Twitch, you don't go on Twitter, you don't see people railing on about it, there's no like esports boards behind it or everything. It's one of those things where a lot of people won't accept that there is like a level past the casual play. And what that amounts to is, yes, they'll try it because it's free, but it's a fling, right? It's, I don't want to say Apex because people grind Apex. It's like a Fortnite to a lot of people, even though Fortnite's competitive too. It's an Among Us. That's a good one. It's something where people will play it for a bit and then they'll forget about it after a week, 2 weeks, a month. It's a fad, right? But like, my biggest hope for the future, which is why I'm still turning the game on time after time again to practice, is I just want to be good at the game. I don't want to be the best in the world. I'm not going to be the best in the world for so many reasons, but it's really the kind of game where I like to have some legacy skill. You know, just like you got people who have legacy skill in Tetris, Puyo Puyo, puzzle games. I guess you can say other genres as well, like your typical competitive genres. I just think that, again, the game's cool. I just want some legacy skill to where if I see it in passing, I can play it, do some cool stuff, tell some people some stuff, have a good time, you know? More than just the basic panic and confusion. So, with that being said, I guess this is really a good point for me to throw up the deuces on this, turn the system on, and actually get some reps in. I think I'm gonna do that. Hopefully I'll see you there too at some point. Until then, peace.